Welcome. I was going to introduce myself, but I think it's been done. So it was about a year ago that I was here on stage with the class of 2016 saying, we'll see you next year. And you know, when people grow up, they tend to mark their time with milestones. First steps, first words, a bat mitzvah, confirmation, graduation, wedding. This, today, is a milestone for Techstars Chicago. And I use this, like you do with people, as a time to reflect and think back about what the last 8 years have been like. And it's a milestone because it's the 8th time that Techstars is doing this in Chicago. It's also a milestone because it's the first time that it's run by Logan and his team. So I've run it the last 7, and I'm handing it off to him. So I want to give you guys a little bit of history and a little bit of background. So in 2009, there was no 1871. There really weren't co-working spaces. I didn't even know what an accelerator was. But I had some students from Northwestern who had gone through my entrepreneurship class who went down to Boulder, Colorado, and participated in Techstars in 2009. And I got to see firsthand how awesome it was for them. And shortly after that, during that time period, actually, there had been 2 organizations, Sandbox Industries and I2A Fund, who were looking at this concept of accelerators for Chicago. It was amazing to see how powerful it was down in Boulder. So not only did Next Big Sound go to Boulder, pivot, come out with an amazing company, that at that point, at Demo Day, they were asking for $300,000 in seed capital. They ended up raising over $1 million and turning a bunch of people away. They subsequently raised a bunch more money and now have been sold and are a part of Pandora, a very successful exit. But that year, Techstars had 5 companies out of Chicago of the 19, which was awesome. Chicago's only 1% of the US population, but we had 25% of the Techstars population. Except they all left Chicago and didn't come back. So Sandbox and I2A got together, and I was sitting there too. We were at a little restaurant on Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado, talking about how we needed to do this in Chicago. So we brought some folks from Techstars up to Chicago. David Cohen came, and we talked about, can we launch Techstars in Chicago? And they said, you know, we're too busy. We're about to launch New York and Seattle, but we think you should do it, and we'll help. We have this mantra we call give first. We'll do stuff without any specific expectation of return. And so they provided us with the playbook, basically, the documents, the best practices, and how to run an accelerator. And we did, and in 2010, 4 of us, Sandbox, I2A, Sam Yegan, and I launched Accelerate Labs. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't have office space until 2 weeks before the program started, when we found a little sublease pop-up space, 57 West Grand. It didn't have internet in it. It did have furniture, but it didn't have internet. So it was going to take a few weeks for the internet to get wired, so we had cellular modems, clear, the cellular modems, to power it. We had about 40 people in the space, but don't worry, we had 2 cellular modems powering the 40 people. One that hung out the south window and one that hung out the north window. It's true. It was a little rough, but we put it together, and it was a ton of fun. 3 weeks before Demo Day, we realized we didn't have a venue. Somehow we came up with House of Blues, and they happened to have space available on that day. And I will never forget that first Demo Day. So a woman named Jessica Cowan came out on stage for the very first pitch to introduce the first company. She wasn't a customer, and she wasn't an investor, and she wasn't a mentor. And frankly, she was a little uncomfortable on stage. And she got out, and she basically said, I'm here because of Give Forward, and she shuffled off. And everybody was sort of confused. And then Desiree, with all of her poise, came out and proceeded to tell the story of how Jessica had had a series of medical problems, had used all of the medical insurance that her insurance company would provide, and she still needed a kidney transplant to save her life. Her sister had a matching kidney and was willing to donate it, but their family didn't have the $40,000 they needed for the kidney transplant, and insurance wouldn't cover it. But her sister found Give Forward, put up a Give Forward page. They raised the money in 33 days, had the successful kidney transplant, and Jessica was on the stage, literally, because of Give Forward. Retelling that story and reliving it just gave me goosebumps, just like it did in 2010. And it was then that I knew we had something. We were doing more than just helping entrepreneurs. We were literally building companies and in some cases saving people's lives. 2011, we realized we needed more than a pop-up space. We had this really cool space on West Jackson Wood Loft. It was actually so unique that when the Clinton Global Initiatives Conference was here in Chicago, they came and did a tour of our space to see what an accelerator was. The newly minted mayor of Chicago, Ram, came and did the keynote at Demo Day that year. In 2012, we had the choice to move into 1871 or to keep our own space, and it was a difficult decision. We had our own identity. People said, I'm going to accelerate. Thought they'd say, I'm going to 1871. We decided to move into 1871 sort of as that anchor tenant, and it was the best decision we ever made because we were embedded and part of that community, deeply part of that community. Funny story, that year we had two guys who had applied to the company, to the accelerator in 2011, and we had turned them down. They were way too early. And in 2012, they reapplied and we accepted them. And then they came to me and they said, you know, we're really glad we got accepted, but we're too busy. Our company's grown. The two of us are kind of busy. We got to answer a bunch of phone calls. We could never participate in the program because we're busy building our business. And I convinced them that they should come into the program. They should use the $70,000 we're investing in the company to invest in infrastructure, customer service, et cetera. They're going to have to do it at some point. They may as well use our capital to do it, and we'd help them. And they said, okay, initially reluctantly. Today, that company, Spot Hero, has parked 10 million cars across the country in over 50 cities. And in the next 12 months, they predict they'll park another 10 million cars. It's amazing to see what happens. The end of that year, 2012, Brad Feld came out to Chicago and we had lunch. And he basically said, I like what's going on here. 1871, all these co-working spaces, a lot of angel groups, accelerators. We'd love to have a presence here, but we don't want to compete with you. Would you consider becoming Techstars Chicago? And so we did. And we opened 2013 with a new brand and a new face. And that new brand was Techstars, and that new face was Steve Farsht, who many of you know helped me run the program for 2 years. He then went off to France and lived there for a year. I don't understand what the draw was, but whatever. I didn't beat out France. In 2015, Brian Lerson, who had helped us launch the original program in 2010, joined, and he and I ran that together for the next 2 years. This has had a huge impact on Chicago, on the ecosystem, but it reaches much beyond just Chicago. We have literally had multiple companies from places like Russia, India, France, Israel, Canada, Spain, and Tennessee. But today's a milestone, and I'm proud to be handing the torch to Logan and his team. It's the start of a new chapter. Things are different. They're growing. They're changing. I hope that you guys are all as excited about these companies as I am proud of them. So with that, I give you to David Brown. Say a little bit about Techstars.
Thanks, Troy, and hello, everybody. My name is David Brown. I'm co-founder and co-CEO of Techstars, and it's great to be here with you today. I'm excited to see all the fantastic companies that are going to be pitching here later tonight. I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. I'm from Montreal, Canada. I'm 53 years old. I've never had a job interview. Being from Canada, I know a lot about hockey. But I don't know a whole lot about baseball. I understand there's some kind of event happening later tonight. Is that the case? Any of you baseball fans? We were guessing that maybe 0 would be baseball fans because everybody's home getting ready for the game. So Logan told me that I had to go quick because all the pitches tonight are going to be 45 seconds or less so that we can get you all out of here on time. No, that's not true. But we'll get you out of here in time to see the game. I wanted to talk a little bit about, just briefly, about the evolution of Techstars. As Troy mentioned, we have a history of about 10 years of running accelerators, and in fact, this is class number 102. It's sort of been an amazing experience how this experiment that we tried in Boulder, Colorado in the summer of 2007 wound up working. David Cohen, who's my co-founder at Techstars, and I had built a number of businesses together going all the way back to the 1990s. And the idea of Techstars was born around this idea that we wanted to help other entrepreneurs not make all of the same mistakes that we had made. We'd had some success, we'd had some failure, we hadn't really had a lot of mentorship and help. And even though every business is different and every entrepreneur needs to figure out what to do with their own startup, it does help to have some people who have seen the road before and can give some advice. And it turns out that that model has been incredibly powerful. That mentorship-driven accelerator, that notion that got started and was run by David and Boulder in 2007 is now spread so that there are now 32 Techstars accelerators in 11 countries around the world. In addition, we're now also a full-blown venture fund. Our current fund is a $150 million fund. And then in addition to that, we provide experiential exposure to entrepreneurship at the earliest stage to inspire new entrepreneurs all around the world through our startup community programs like Startup Weekend and Startup Week. These are events that happen Startup Week over a week, Startup Weekend over a weekend, in 900 different locations every single year in 160 countries all around the world, so more countries than Starbucks. So it turns out, you know, that our little idea in Boulder, Colorado that Troy was telling you about earlier to help entrepreneurs succeed applies everywhere. It applies in every city, in every country, everywhere around the world. It applies at every stage of an entrepreneur's journey to help in acceleration, to help in the inspiration, hopefully to help all the way to IPO as Spot Hero and other companies grow and become really incredible successes. And it is our mission, just as it was in the early days, to figure out how to play a part in that to the extent that we can. The results have been fantastic. Techstars companies have raised now over $3 billion in total, $1 billion of that in the past year. That's my favorite statistic because that's not us saying that they're great. That's investors voting with their checkbook, other people parting with their hard-earned money to invest in great companies. Those companies are now worth in aggregate a total of $10 billion. And many of those companies have come out of this Chicago program. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Logan to the stage. Logan is the managing director, of course, here in Chicago and has done an incredible job of taking the torch from Troy and nurturing 10 incredible companies that you'll see here shortly. So thanks for having me, and enjoy the pitches.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, David, for coming out, for talking about Techstars, the growth, the success of the program. Thank you for supporting and for being here. Thank you so much. And just a quick thank you so much to Troy, not just for the introduction, but for your dedication to the community, your dedication to Techstars, your dedication to the founders. And in truth, if there were a baseball reference, if there were a Hall of Fame for Chicago Tech, I think Troy Henikoff would be a first ballot every time. So thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome to Demo Day for Techstars Chicago 2017. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Esther and Northwestern, the School of Law here, for hosting us. Phenomenal venue. We're so proud to be here, and we're so thankful that you came. I'm Logan LaHive. I'm the new managing director at Techstars Chicago. So some of you may know me. I've been in the community here for quite some time, dating back to being a mentor at Accelerate Labs in its inaugural year in 2010 with Tap Me Games. Any Tap Me Games? Anyone remember Tap Me Games? First program in 2010. And that was when I wasn't a founder myself. I was at Redbox at the time. I hadn't taken the leap yet. I wasn't yet a founder. And I think, honestly, that year, 2010, being a mentor, first year at Accelerate Labs, is what pushed me forward. It pushed me to take the leap. And in 2011, I started my own company, started a company here in Chicago called Belly. And honestly, one thing I learned was that being a founder is really, really hard. Very hard. And that's honestly the reason I'm here. That's why I'm in this role. I'm in this role because I know how hard it is to build something from scratch. I know how hard it is to hire, to fire, to raise money, to pitch your vision, to have some people love it and others not. And I'm here in this role for one simple reason, is because I want to support founders, particularly at the early stage, when the people that are building and creating from scratch. And so I took this job with that in mind, and with the intent to make this program here in Chicago intensely founder-focused. And I say founder-focused. Techstars has core values of founder first and give first, and those things absolutely stand. They're phenomenal values. But one thing I want to define the program here at Techstars Chicago is I want that to be intensely founder-focused, to be our defining brand. I want that, when people think about this program here, that's what I want them to think about. That's what I want them to remember. And so what does that mean? That means there's been some changes to demo day, to the program, changes like yesterday. Instead of being at the House of Blues, where it's been for the last 7 years, we had private investor events at 1871. Over 200 investors came to those events to spend time one-on-one with founders. I believe these pitches here on stage are an introduction. They're a high-level introduction to tell you about the people that started the company, to tell you who they are, why they did it, what's the theme, the market, but really mostly about them. Because quite honestly, at this stage, investors will tell you at the early stage, top criteria for picking a winner, 1 through 9 is team. 10 might be the space or traction or founder market fit or sales, whatever it is. That may change for some people, but most people agree 1 through 9 are team, 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 team. And the people that are sitting here, the people that are backstage, they have that in spades. So I hope tonight, in just 5-minute pitches, we cut those down, we made them shorter. I hope you get to see a little bit of that. I hope you get to learn a little bit about them, who they are and why they built it. And I hope, honestly, you get to dive in more, spend time with them, connect with them, because they are really phenomenal people. And you know, as David said, the growth of Techstars has been incredible. And that's, I think, super helpful for us here in this role. I'm very lucky, I'm fortunate. I get to step into an organization that's built an incredible pipeline. Built a pipeline that allows us to have absolutely best of best companies apply. So here for this class, the founders that you'll see tonight, we started off looking at 3,000 companies this year. In my first year in this role, I did not expect the level of rigor. 3,000 companies we looked at, 1,000 applications to our program here in Chicago. With those applications, we picked top 350 and we did interviews. Video and in person, we interviewed 350 companies, got down to 80, where we did deeper diligence, got down to our final 25. And our final 25, we brought them here to Chicago. They went through a rigorous selection process. We brought in local venture capitalists, CEOs, product leaders, engineers, and we interviewed them. We spent time with them. So that process got down to these 10. And that's top 1%. So you're going to see here the absolute best of the best. And this process works. It's been proven. David talked about a lot of the successes. You know, globally with Techstars, companies like SendGrid, PillPack, Sphero, DigitalOcean, Plated, great big brands. In Chicago, this program alone, companies like Spot Hero, LogicGate, Telnex, TradingView, GeoBit, and many others. Many, many more. We have the absolute best here. And so I'm very excited to be able to present them to you. I'm very excited for you to be able to connect with them. And by connect with them, I think in your brochures, you'll see you have some of their contact information. You have that there. But also tonight, if you pull out your phone, we have a live stream going. I tweeted it. If you're interested, you want to like double down, like flip between live stream, watching, and the game, which hasn't started yet. We'll update you if anything happens. But also, if you go to chicagotechstars.com, chicagotechstars.com, you'll be able to see more about the companies. There'll be buttons there you can press if you want to connect with them. You'll be able to see some of their handles. You can get some of their more information. You can email them, all of the founders. All of them, the companies have set up founders at company domain. So founders at company domain, you can email them directly. Tell them, you know, I think what you're doing is awesome. Tell them I could introduce you to a customer. Tell them I'm interested in working for you. Or contact me, Logan LaHive. You can hit my DMs, they're open. But we would love to connect you. I really want this to be about introductions. I want you to meet these people. I want you to learn about what they're doing. So I hope you get excited. Get excited about 1, 2, 3. You may not love all 10. But when you do find one, I don't need your tweets. I don't need your posts. The companies do. So if you're going to tweet something tonight, if you're going to take a picture, I'd encourage you, find their handle. Look in your brochure. Find their domain. Talk about the company that you love. Tell people why. And so without further ado, I want to present to you the class of Techstars Chicago 2017. First up, we're going to have Renji from Immersed, and he's going to be introducing our first presenting company, 4 Degrees. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Renji, CEO of Immersed. Kobe Bryant retired from the NBA as a legend. The professional athletes that trained alongside him said that he performed on a whole other level because of his unparalleled work ethic. He was constantly the first one in the gym and most certainly always the last one to leave. Although Ablorde from 4 Degrees is not as good at basketball as I am, he's definitely one of the Kobe Bryants of this year's Techstars cohort. He's constantly one of the first ones in the office and most certainly always the last one to leave. As a Harvard-educated CEO, his work ethic is unparalleled. He's a master of his craft. And throughout the course of the program, I've learned to find out that I've not only found an amazing resource as I continue to build my business, but I've also found a lifelong brother. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce Ablorde from 4 Degrees.
Hi, I'm Ablorde, co-founder and CEO of 4 Degrees. And many of you in this audience know me. Not too long ago, I was one of you, attending demo days like this as a part of Pritzker Group's VC team. But you don't know my cousin, Sheriff. Smart, talented, similar set of values, but Sheriff's unemployed and has been for the past year. Now, he and his family are happy. We all go through rough patches in life. But in our conversations, he'll say that he's a ways away from the career ambitions he set out for himself. So why the difference in trajectory? In a word, relationships. And many of you know David, also one of you not too long ago, and one of the leading thinkers and practitioners around AI and machine learning in Chicago. But you don't know his dad, another smart, capable engineer, but whose career stalled before he reached his ambitions because he couldn't translate that technical capital into social capital. And it's not just us. Whether you're a candidate applying for your dream job, an investor looking for the next clever safe, a construction worker trying to become a foreman, one of the biggest determinants of your success is the number of engaged, meaningful relationships you've built. But outside of a few you keep top of mind, we let valuable relationships fade. Many of us in this room have thousands of followers and connections. It's impossible to keep all the valuable ones top of mind. And making those relationships meaningful and making your network useful requires more than knowing their roles. It requires more than reading their profiles. It requires an understanding of shared history, of passions, of priorities. Your network is your biggest source of opportunity, and you engage very little of it. And when you think of all the ways the technology has made us superhuman, it's amazing that it's failed us in our most human realm, building bonds with one another. We felt that pain firsthand, and so we left our jobs to build the solution. We've studied at and worked in some of the world's best institutions, Harvard and Bain in my case, Georgia Tech and McKinsey in David's. As ex-VCs, we spent years analyzing early-stage companies and understanding the drivers behind success and failure. And we're two people that built our careers on relationships, who had the Excel spreadsheets and Google Documents and built custom software to try to solve this problem for ourselves, and did much of the manual work to try to solve it on behalf of our firm, who needed it every bit as much as we did. And we are 4 Degrees. We help professionals get the most out of their network. Let me show you how it works, putting on my old hat as a VC. So first, I sync my email on my calendar, and I log into my 4Degrees account. Here, I find my network made useful. Whether I'm helping a portfolio company fundraise, looking for my next deal, or helping them find their next great engineer, 4Degrees has me covered. It also gives me authentic ways of engaging with those people, articles they might enjoy, introductions I can make to help them, and more. And because we believe in bringing you this intelligence where you work, we send it to you in email as well. From here, we'll move to Gmail and Outlook plugins and Slack integrations with the vision of being everywhere you do your work. Okay, so I'm headed to San Francisco in a few weeks, and I've got some time I'd love to fill while I'm there. So I add the invites to my calendar, and soon after, I get an email from 4Degrees, giving me 5 people I should reach out to before I get to the city. Proactive, intelligent, delivered where I do my work. At the heart of this is a powerful platform that ingests the highest fidelity versions of your professional network, your email, your calendar, and your phone, layers on third-party data sources, and applies sophisticated semantic analysis to help you reach your goals, and gives you rich insights about your contacts that nothing else today provides you. On top of that platform, we make money by building modules for industries and roles that are relationship-driven and charging a subscription license. We're starting in venture capital and quickly moving into private equity and recruiting. Those 3 alone represent a $450 million market. And there are dozens of other professions that at their core are relationship-driven, and 4Degrees changes their trajectory. 10 weeks ago, we began speaking to firms about co-developing the first module on that platform for VCs. And we got a number of firms to sign up for that commitment. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. These are Chicago firms. These 2 are ex-Chicago VCs. These are just their friends. Well, you're right. We did know many of these firms from our investing days. We're a relationship management company, and we're excited that people that know us well want to join us in our next adventure. In those same 10 weeks, we signed up a number of firms from outside of Chicago. And we're already moving into our next 2 markets, private equity and recruiting, with brand name co-development partners that are excited to work with us. And that's just the beginning. With each individual, with each firm, with each industry we bring onto the platform, we gain an understanding of their professional network. And in dense communities, it doesn't take long for that professional graph to get to scale. And at scale, with our technology, our ability to do everything from help a recruiter find their next candidate to help my cousin find his next job becomes a reality. If you're interested in what 4Degrees can do for you or your business, or if you can help us build relationships with large private equity, venture capital, and recruiting firms, come talk to us. Thanks.
I'm Emilie. I'm the co-founder of Allie, and it has been an absolute honor to watch the progression of Elemetric. Daniel's been a cool, calm, collected leader through the course of the program, ups and downs of his team, helping all of us here weather the storm of Techstars. He's got a level head even through his guerrilla pitch practice with the rumbling trains of the CTA overhead. He's always got the perfect wry observation to crack us up with that West Virginia wit of his. And he's a builder. He's built up relationships, generously making key customer introductions to us, and he's built up a community of early adopters here in Chicago in the blockchain community. And now, he is building the foundational infrastructure of the blockchain internet. And to tell you more, look no further than Daniel Mason from Elemetric.
Hello, my name is Daniel Mason, co-founder and CEO of Elemetric. Only some of you are I want to start by talking to you about these 2 logos. Only some of you are investors, but I'm sure you all know the one on the left. The Wall Street Journal has been around for more than a century and has established itself as the global leader in financial news. The one on the right, CoinMarketCap, was founded in 2013 to track cryptocurrency prices. Since the beginning of the year, though, total traffic to CoinMarketCap has increased by more than 900%, catching the Wall Street Journal in late June and not looking back since. Driven by consumer investment interest in the blockchain space, CoinMarketCap now has more total traffic than the Wall Street Journal. According to recent reports, 2/3 of large companies, including every one you see here, have announced plans to implement blockchain initiatives by the end of next year. Now, these companies aren't interested in trading Bitcoin, but rather building public or private blockchains into their core infrastructures, creating new systems that are more scalable and cost-effective than those that exist today. Many of these new use cases are driven by the creation of blockchain applications called smart contracts. You can think of a smart contract as code stored on the blockchain that behaves much like the back end of a web or mobile application. Smart contracts, though, have a big problem. They can't talk to web APIs. Think about the apps you use on a daily basis and how useless many of them would be if they were unable to make API requests. No developer in their right mind would spend months building a payment processing system from scratch when they can be up and running on a system like Stripe or Braintree in just minutes. This level of infrastructure simplicity doesn't yet exist in the blockchain space. Imagine a blockchain application as distributed across hundreds or even thousands of computers in a network. Each of these computers is trying to talk to the same data source, but if even a single one gets a differing response due to a minor downtime issue or a decimal point difference in data returned, the entire system breaks. This data consensus requirement is what makes blockchain so powerful, but it's also the reason that blockchain apps can't talk to the internet today. Companies used to have to make a tough choice: build with APIs or build on blockchain. With Elemetric, they can do both. Elemetric is an API service for the blockchain internet, connecting on-chain data and off-chain data in ways that are scalable and cost-effective. We act as an infrastructure layer, allowing companies to focus on what they do best, building powerful, industry-specific blockchain apps without having to worry about sourcing or transforming data. We do this by creating a data marketplace that lives on top of our technology platform. To understand how this works, take our first paid customer, SpringCM. SpringCM is a global leader in the document and workflow management space and is leveraging Elemetric to put its API on the blockchain. Using this API, the first application built on our platform greatly reduces contract disputes by creating a permanent digital record of signed documents on blockchain. In the future, our marketplace will contain APIs from a wide array of industries, creating new and exciting use cases for apps on our platform. This could include an Internet of Things device streaming real-time usage data to an app stabilizing the power grid, or a logistics company streaming real-time location data to its network of delivery providers, or countless other applications across some of the largest industries in the world, like real estate, advertising, healthcare, and beyond. We have the right team to pull this off. I started my career at Red Hat, a global leader in open source tech and blockchain, before coming to Chicago to run the data science team at Belly. My co-founder, Paul, has extensive software experience, having run both the engineering and data science teams at Y Combinator startup Idan. Blockchain is an early stage space, and many of the companies in it today will fail based on a lack of early user adoption. I'm here to tell you, though, Elemetric is different. We're not consumer-facing, and we're not dependent on the success of a single blockchain or application. Rather, we're a critical infrastructure piece, laying the data foundation for technology that is transforming some of the largest industries in the world. We're not planning a traditional fundraise, but we do have a couple things you can help us with today. If you know companies that are interested in building on blockchain and fit either side of our marketplace model, we would love introductions. Or if you know talented engineers who are interested in blockchain, we'd love intros or to speak after the presentations. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maor, and I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy because I had the opportunity to meet Billy, and his team during the program. They have rare combination between intellectual, and emotional intelligence. And they're addressing a huge problem in our market that affects all of us as a society. And you know what? I met tons of people during my career, and I can definitely say that they are the right people that I would rely on with my retirement. So please, welcome Billy and Arbor.
Meet Jane. She's 54 years old, and with life expectancy where it is, she's going to live until at least 81. She makes $65,000 a year. She saves what she can. But unfortunately for Jane, with the path that she's on for retirement, she's going to run out of money by 75. She'll be unable to pay for her home, unable to pay for her medical expenses. It's not just a bad situation, it's catastrophic. And meet Kirk. Kirk's 45, he's married, has 2 children and a mortgage. To the outside world, he looks like an adult, but he spends like a millennial. He buys coffee 6 days a week, and he has no idea how much it's costing his retirement. And these are my parents. They've worked extremely hard, and as it becomes harder for them to work, I want them to have the best retirement they can. They're 2 of 76 million baby boomers struggling with the questions of retirement, like how to make their money last, how to prepare for medical expenses, what to do about an empty nest, and like all of us, how to minimize our taxes. Unfortunately for them, it's the most complicated problem in finance. Even Nobel laureates agree. And few of us have someone to trust in taking on its challenges. Some of us in this room might, who can afford it, but millions of Americans are getting advice from the worst sources because they can't find a good one, can't afford a good one, or they've already been lassoed by one of these. Goldline, for example, has $500 million in annual sales. They market gold as a safe haven, even while they charge a 40% markup on both the buying and the selling of the gold. They're fleecing consumers. Our company is Harbor, and we're bringing high-quality retirement planning to everyday Americans. Fortunately for my parents, they've had me. I studied at Harvard and Oxford. I worked deep in finance, lending to financial companies while at UBS, investing in them while working in private equity at Advent. I was lucky to meet Nick while at Advent, where it was impossible not to notice the depth and the creativity of his thinking. He leads our product vision, and Colin brings it to life. Colin's an MIT-educated full-stack engineer with experience in payments and insurance. He prides himself on delighting consumers like Jane. And when Jane first came to us, she didn't know exactly what she was doing, but she knew she wanted to take control. And so she walked herself through a process of financial discovery, establishing intuitive metrics for her overall readiness, her retirement income, and her retirement stability. She built up a plan piece by piece. We provided the raw material, and she took the initiative. And as she weighed the levers of her lifestyle and her use of financial products, she could come up with a plan that was right for her. In Jane's case, a few adjustments to her lifestyle, when she retires, how she budgets, and a few actionable recommendations from Harbor, maybe moving to a lower-cost state, maybe using a deferred annuity to hedge her longevity, she can get back on track for retirement. And if she puts more into the product, she's only going to get more out of it. We know about her assets and her income, yes, but she connects her accounts, she tells us her goals, she tests scenarios, and she asks us questions. We know more about her financial situation than anyone, and as a result, we can provide her with comprehensive advice. And we're filling the gap for comprehensive advice for 25% of US households, 30 million of them in the wealth range of $100,000 to $1 million in liquid net worth. We're going to raise their level of service, and we're going to become a trusted relationship for them. And they haven't had a trusted relationship because there hasn't been a company like Harbor before. We're holistic, we're free, we're interactive, and we're impartial. We put the power of financial services directly in people's hands. We're not just different than the existing players, we're additive to them. We get consumers more engaged across the spectrum of financial services, from full-service advisory to insurance to tax planning. And our business model is to make referrals, to generate leads to the best of the best in every vertical, and always in the best interest of the consumer. And the value of these referrals, these leads, is in the hundreds, in some cases the thousands of dollars. So even Kirk, normally too busy drinking coffee, is finding Harbor. He came to us through one of our successful Facebook marketing campaigns to figure out what that cup of coffee was really costing him. In his case, it was 3 years. And when Kirk learned this, he did like Jane. He went to our website, went to our planner, entered his information, and got actionable recommendations from Harbor for how to improve. And Kirk took our advice, and he opened his first non-401k brokerage account with Charles Schwab. We've been amazed to see how hungry people are for advice. We're turning low-intent clicks into high-intent accounts, creating motivated users interested in self-improvement. With 5 content calculators currently driving people to the site and onto the planner, and more in the pipeline, we'll continue bringing people to the site at an enviable cost per click of 30 cents. And from those visitors, 22% go on to use our planner, 10% go on to register for an account, and at our 5% conversion of registered accounts into referral revenue, that's a cost of acquisition of $272. Our lifetime value, it's multiples of that, over $1,200. And we're only going to get better. We aggregate data, we're integrating and adapting the top third-party vendors, and we behaviorally optimize everything we do. We believe good advice empowers you to make your own decisions, and with Harbor, you will. So go to our website, figure out what a cup of coffee is really costing you, estimate your retirement age, and use the planner to come up with some actionable recommendations for how to improve. And if you're an angel investor, we particularly want to be a part of your retirement plan, so please find us after the presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Tav and I'm co-founder of Futury. During the past 3 months, I've been amazed watching Jeremy and Josh work. They break through walls, close impossible missions, business, and take their business to new heights. Jeremy is a force of nature. His knowledge is unmatched. His hustle is unstoppable. And his swagger is one of a kind. I am honored to introduce Jeremy Parker of swag.com.
Hello, my name is Jeremy Parker, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of swag.com. We help companies create quality promotional products that people actually want to keep. 10 years ago, I was running a promotional product division under MV Sport. MV Sport is one of the largest players in the promotional product space. I learned the ins and the outs of production, manufacturing, fulfillment. I saw how big the industry was. It was $30 billion at the time. I also saw how old and broken it was, relying heavily on emails and handshakes to close deals. Fast forward 10 years, and the industry hasn't really changed. It's now a $40 billion industry. There are 50 companies in the space that each make $50 million of sales a year. It's still old, it's still broken, it's still fragmented. There is one main change though, the buyer. Millennials now control the swag buying for major organizations, big and small. They have very different needs, they're looking for very different things, and there's no platform that is focused on making their lives easier. So 15 months ago, we launched swag.com. Our goal was to learn as much about the industry as possible. So we spoke to hundreds of office managers trying to learn what they liked and hated about the buying experience. Number one, quality over price. Price is not the most important thing. Quality is. Now, if you ask your office managers, they may not tell you the right thing, but really it's not their money, it's yours. Their main incentive is not to look bad. 2, they hate the manual process and they don't want to talk to anyone. And 3, brand is really important. They all complained that every promotional product company looks the same, old, stale, and corporate. So we took what we learned and we built our e-commerce experience. Only quality products. We've curated the best of what's out there, tested thousands of products from hundreds of manufacturers, and 95% of the products we tested didn't make the cut. We streamlined our buying experience, making it really easy for customers to find what they're looking for, design it, and buy it. You can now buy swag in a matter of seconds. And brand, we put a heavy focus on it. Bought the swag.com domain name to be memorable and crafted our brand to give customers confidence that we will take great care of them. Let's see how it works. So the user can find what they're looking for, they can easily change the color, upload their logo, our system instantly detects how many colors are in the logo, what those colors are, and can automatically remove the white background color. Now, once they're happy with how the logo looks, they can maneuver it around, they can place it, and they can easily convert it to a one-color print. It's very simple how to do it. Once they've converted it to a one-color print and they're happy, they update the quantity and the price is adjusted in real time. And then they can buy it. 30 seconds, they can easily buy the swag. So Brian, hit me with some traction. We launched, in the short time since we launched, we made over $1 million of sales. Thank you. In the first 5 months of sales were all manual, as we didn't have a functioning website, but we took what we learned in those 5 months and built an automated e-commerce experience. In June, we made $19,000 of sales, and in September, we did over $100,000 of sales. That's a 400% increase in the span of 4 months. We also have nearly 400 customers using our platform, including Google, Facebook, WeWork, Bravo, Virgin, and Jolly Rancher. WeWork, for example, bought 5 times through our platform. After the 3rd time, one person at WeWork called me up and said, Jeremy, we're seeing your swag all over our office, and we want you to offer it to our community base. So we integrated it into the WeWork platform and are now the #1 most popular in the office and needs section, beating out UPS and Poppin. We're also getting ready to launch 2 new partnerships, Capital One and Kickstarter. Kickstarter has 4,000 campaigns that incorporate a t-shirt component. Pay $20 for a t-shirt, pay $200 for the cool watch I'm developing. But until now, there hasn't been a platform that can handle the production and also the distribution to the list of backers. We are going to be that partner. Thank you. Now, besides partnerships, we're focusing on several other attraction channels. Digital acquisition. We have a $7,000 LTV, which gives us room to spend on acquisition. 2, swag.com branded products. All of our t-shirts have a swag.com inner label. So when WeWork bought 4,000 t-shirts, that was 4,000 people knowing about our brand. And account-based marketing. We're sending personalized swag boxes to specific office managers that we're in contact with, enticing them to act. We've been testing these various channels over the last few months, and we're seeing great results. So where are we heading? We've seen the power of account-based marketing and how well it's working for us, and we want to automate this for all of our customers. Integrating into Salesforce, HubSpot, Marketo, and allowing companies to send personalized swag boxes to anyone they want to incentivize. Powering sales reps to close deals faster, customer service teams to delight users, and office managers to onboard new hires. Sending someone a personalized gift increases the odds by 10x that they'd be likely to act. So a little bit about our team. I'm Jeremy, I'm the CEO. I'm an award-winning documentary filmmaker. I ran a promotional product division under MV Sport for 3 years. I also started a celebrity-focused e-commerce site, partnered with major celebs including 50 Cent, Pitbull, and Rev Run that sold to one of Bob Sillerman's public companies. My partner Josh started an e-commerce fashion site, Amuse.com, that was acquired. And before that, he worked at Deloitte in financial auditing. So our strategy is to first focus on the office manager because they are the gateway into the company. But our vision is much bigger than that. We are more than just a transactional platform. Our goal is to help all divisions within companies use swag as a way to empower people, connect people, and to turn prospects, employees, and customers into loyal fans. We are very excited about our future, and we would love for you to be part of it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kristen Sunday. I'm the co-founder of Paladin. And over the past 3 months, I have had the privilege of being neighbors with the Next team. When they first arrived at Techstars, they had nothing but an idea. And now they have a beautiful product and significant traction. I have been blown away by their subject matter expertise, their hard work ethic, and their dedication to building something great. Plus, they have personally kept me endlessly entertained. They're working on a problem in a huge market, something that affects each and every one of us at some point in our lives. And I have no doubt that this duo of seasoned entrepreneurs are going to be hugely successful. It is an honor to introduce Kyle Stoner of Abode.
Hi, this is Mike. He's 33. He's happily married to Danielle. And when Danielle's not around, Mike sits alone in the dark. And he does something that millions of people like him do every single night. That's right, Mike is browsing house porn. And browsing homes online wasn't even possible until recently. Before the internet, if you wanted to know which homes were for sale, you had to go to a brokerage because they held all the information in physical books. Now, companies like Zillow and Trulia have taken all that information and placed it online. Like many .com era companies, they make money by selling ads. And browsing from your phone is something we all take for granted now. But what happens when Mike is done playing around on the internet? He's ready to commit, and he has to get some actual work done. Browsing has been fixed, buying is still broken. And purchasing a home is the largest, most important transaction of your life. When you're done fantasizing about that dream house, you need to go through the difficult tasks of interviewing and hiring the right real estate agent, completing the grueling mortgage underwriting process, managing inspectors, appraiser, escrow payments, mountains of paperwork. 90% of people describe this as the most overwhelming and stressful transaction they ever have to complete in their lives. We're Abode. We empower buyers with easy-to-use tools and insights to help navigate this complicated journey. So let me show you how it worked out for Mike and Danielle. They came to AbodeHQ.com, and they told us what kind of home they wanted. They wanted a 2-bedroom, loft, condo in the River North area of Chicago. We took that information and used it to algorithmically match them to Joel. Joel's a top 1% agent for Keller Williams, specializing in exactly this type of purchase in this neighborhood. They were able to collaborate in real time with Joel and others, get a digital mortgage, and manage the whole closing process all from a mobile device. We just made buying a home as easy as browsing for a home. And this is the third venture that Carson and I have started in Chicago. We have a background building award-winning products in antiquated industries, including as the co-founders of Pangea, a company that changed the way that many immigrants send money overseas. Carson's a full-stack engineer. He's led high-performing engineering and product teams across multiple venture-backed startups. And my background is in engineering and finance. I've led teams across multiple companies from autos to Wall Street to tech. And although outdated, the residential real estate market is absolutely gigantic. In the US alone, every year, 5 to 6 million homes are sold, generating over $1.6 trillion in sales. I just want to pause this for a moment and let that sink in. That's 1.6 trillion with a T. That's the same size as the GDP of Canada. And these sales generate over $100 billion in commissions to brokers. And brokers are already accustomed to paying referral fees on commissions. In fact, our partnerships dictate that we get paid an industry standard 25% referral fee on every single deal. And we've partnered with some of the largest names in real estate, companies like Century 21, At Properties, and Keller Williams. They've given us over 6,000 agents on our platform. Partnerships like these and others ensure that we earn 1% of the home price on every single deal. So Mike and Danielle, when they came to Abode, we earned $3,150 from that one home purchase. And since we have such a high LTV, we're able to be more aggressive with our customer acquisition spend. So let me show you how that's worked out so far. When we came to Techstars in July, we had the concept for Abode, but we didn't have any product and we didn't have any customers. By August, we launched our MVP, and since then, thousands of visitors have come to our site in search of a streamlined home buying process. And in the last 3 weeks alone, 121 buyers have matched with brokers like Joel and begun their home buying process. We know that when these buyers sit down with someone like Joel, they close 80% of the time. So I'll show you how we found him. We used some of the traditional means. We went to Facebook, we went to Google, we bought ads. We found something else. We could find people that had raised their hand and indicated they're ready to buy a house on other sites. We dial them with low-cost call centers and convert them right on the phone. Our customer acquisition cost is $391, and our LTV is $2,599. Going forward, we plan to expand beyond being just in Chicago. We're going to go throughout the Midwest, where we already have a long pipeline of brokerages ready to sign up, and throughout the rest of the United States, so we can help more buyers. When you fix the broken buying process, everybody wins. Mike and Danielle got to do more than just browsing. They managed their whole process from a mobile device. Joel met a fully qualified buyer and paid no more than the industry standard referral fee. And we earned 1% for making everybody's life easy. We at Abode are building our dream home now. We have commitments to get us a third of the way there, and we're looking for additional partners to help us reach our vision. Thank you.
Earlier this year, I left a company of 60,000 people to help found one with only one other person who lived and worked 300 miles away. Between fundraising, building our tech, selling our product, it's easy to overlook community when you're starting a startup. For all the ways that Techstars helps you address those problems, though, it's impossible to overlook the value of the community that it builds. Nobody embodies that more than Emilie. From the very first day we met, she has always been somebody that I could commiserate with, that I could vent to, that I could trust and confide in. She's made everybody at Techstars feel included, and she is the perfect person to address the problems that Allie is going to address. So it is my honor to introduce to you Emilie Hsieh, CEO of Allie.
We've all seen the press. There is a lot of talk about diversity and inclusion. But behind these headlines, there's a real human impact. Hundreds of thousands of tech workers choose to leave jobs each year. And I bet the top reason would surprise you. Unfair or inequitable work environments. And that has real dollar impact. $16 billion, in fact. That's how much it costs the tech industry each year in employee replacement costs due to inequality in the workplace. And guess what? Almost 2 out of 3 employees would have stayed if their culture were more positive, fair, respectful, and inclusive. Inclusion. It's the key link between feeling engaged, like you're being treated fairly, and that you belong. It's all those small things that build up over time. Death by 1,000 paper cuts, the interruptions, your ideas being dismissed, all the things that add up to make you feel like your voice isn't heard and your contributions don't matter. And it happens every day in the workplace. We've talked to hundreds of employees across tech who have all felt this, that they had no outlet for their issues, no one to advocate for them, and nowhere to turn. And why? Because companies traditionally look at diversity as the right thing to do. But millennials have redefined it beyond quotas to diversity of background, thought, and experience. Gen Z is right behind us, and for them, equality is non-negotiable. But companies are still addressing this problem in traditional ways. They spend $10 billion a year focused on consulting, training, and hiring. Even in tech, we are using hashtags, pledges, setting up phone hotlines, Google Forms, and staffing committees with part-time volunteers. There are no tech tools for the tech industry. Until now. I'm Emilie Hsieh, CEO of Allie, and we help companies build inclusive culture. Allie integrates with messaging platforms like Slack so that employees can provide instant feedback and receive personalized coaching, making an inclusive culture accessible to everyone. So let's go back to that interruptions example. Not going to go to HR or someone's manager, but now you can send Allie a quick message. Allie will automatically detect what type of issue you're having and determine the best advice for you. Okay, find an ally, someone who can echo your point if you get interrupted. This microfeedback gets aggregated into company-level insights. Like to Kate. She's the head of HR at our first customer. She's able to surface feedback that she never would have seen before, those small things that eat away at culture, like those interruptions. Her CEO can see executive-level dashboards with insights that ultimately drive her learning and development strategy, as well as her diversity and inclusion strategy. With Allie, employees have a safe space to feel like their voice is heard. HR has a data-driven way to quantify inclusion, engagement, and retention. And the CEO can preserve culture, as well as protect from any reputational risks or lawsuits. We are selling directly into HR in the C-suite, a SaaS model that charges per seat, and we've identified a massive gap in the market. How do we know? Well, we closed our first paid customer in 30 minutes, without even a demo. Today, we're live in a handful of select organizations. Over Techstars, we've built up a waitlist with over 20 companies, including some of those names you saw before, like Spot Hero, Pandora, and IDEO. And we're excited to announce a new partnership with Harvard and the Gates Foundation to quantify the impact of inclusion in the Fortune 500. And this is just the start. Today, Allie surfaces reactive feedback in response to events that have happened. Next, we're going to incorporate proactive feedback with positive engagement features, micro-training, and employee sentiment detection using machine learning and natural language processing. Ultimately, we'll leverage the incredibly rich interaction data available on these platforms to paint the most holistic picture of data-driven inclusion at work, which no one today is doing. We're a team of 2 data-obsessed engineers who have seen firsthand the impact of culture and inclusion across tech. My background's in management consulting, where I deployed org design and change management programs across the Fortune 500. My co-founder, Simon, is a full-stack engineer who's led and mentored teams of devs across tech. We both know what it's like to be different and not know how to handle it, and together, we now have the privilege to build and scale allies across the globe. Our mission is to make diversity and inclusion accessible to everyone. No one knows what to do, so they do nothing. This is your chance. Change can start in this room. Come join us in making the world a more inclusive place.
Hey guys, hey again. It's with great honor that I introduce the next speaker, Maor from Futury. From the first moment I met this guy, we instantly hit it off. You know those people you're just in the room with and you're like drawn to. Amazing energy, super creative, and really intelligent. Now, the next 3 months that we work side by side, I realize what an amazing entrepreneur he is. He has perseverance, he has hustle, he can overcome anything, he's a true winner. I would say that's the best word to describe Maor, is a true winner. And a few weeks ago, he came to visit me and my family in New York. It was his first time. He met my parents, and I don't let most people meet my parents, that should tell you something. I am really honored to introduce you to Maor, and go Futury.
Six years ago, I finished my military service in the Israeli army. Because of the experience I gained as a computer networking course commander, I could start work in the technology industry. I knew that engineers were in such high demand, and within 2 weeks, I had 3 job offers on the table. And I took the position with the highest salary. Sounds great, right? But I made a mistake. On the job, I did not learn any new skills, technologies, or languages that would have helped me progress in my career. I was bored, my career had stalled, and I was ready to leave the company after just 6 months. As for my friends from the army, some of them worked in great places, and some didn't. It happened because we all guessed our way. We were guessing between working at a big company or a startup, becoming DevOps or full stack, coding with Python or Ruby, MongoDB or Cassandra, AWS or Azure, Angular or React, Java or Scala. There were simply too many new technologies out there, and the pace of it is just increasing. In the army, we learned that every problem can be solved. Meet Futury. Futury helps engineers to create order out of the technology chaos. We've mapped the entire technology industry using a real-time graph database. We gather data from various sources. We clean and categorize the data according to our data structure, and this data is being processed by machine learning algorithms. And the result? Accurate insights about your next challenge. And it's all about personalization. Meet David. David is a software engineer and has 3 years of experience. David was approached by Microsoft to become a software engineer. So David came to Futury, filled his profile, and we detected and analyzed his skills
but most importantly, his potential. We show David how working at Microsoft will affect his future. Let's take a look. So David looked on the position and found out that working at Microsoft as a software engineer will create him the future opportunity to become DevOps engineer. But David has different plans. So according to his profile, our system has matched him with more opportunities, so David can compare them before making his final decision. So David found a position at Lyft as a software engineer and compared between the two options. David found out that working at Lyft as a software engineer will create him the future opportunity to become data engineer, which is David's dream job. We laid out the entire industry in front of him so David can find not just a job that he likes, but a job that will fit his career with the right skills. And this market is huge, and still, engineers are in high demand, and nobody really helps them. All the players in the recruitment market still help the employer to recruit, not to the engineer to progress. They only care what is the engineer's skill set today. At Futury, as we are obsessed with helping engineers, we care about who this engineer will become. And this market, in the US alone, $30 billion. Huge. Futury charge companies for sponsoring their company page and promoting their open positions. That way, we can serve the engineers' interest, and we can scale globally fast without having recruiters in every country. We launched our product just 4 weeks ago, and already more than 1,000 engineers have filled the full profile, including their skills and experience. These are 1,000 engineers that care about their future. We attract the technology leaders of tomorrow. And tech companies, they come to us to be in the place where the leaders of tomorrow make the decision today. And the best part, we have the perfect team to grow our company. We met each other 10 years ago in the Israeli army when we served as course commanders. And afterwards, we started to work in top tech companies in Israel. For us, being managers before becoming engineers taught us to manage our own career. And now, we have the privilege to provide this ability to the entire world. The tech industry keeps evolving, and more technologies keep coming out. And Futury creates order out of the technology chaos. Because at Futury, we don't really care who you are today. We care about who you will become. And if you also care about your future, come and talk to us. Thank you.
Hello again. When we were first accepted into Techstars, I called my friend Alan, and I told him. And he said, "Congratulations, my other friend just got accepted too, Paladin, and they're a bunch of stone-cold killers." And I said, "Whoa." I soon found out what he was talking about. They became our office neighbors, and they come in 7 days a week with so much hustle, so much passion, and they're already a super, super talented team. They bring it every day. In fact, they influence our team to be better operators. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce to you the co-founder and CEO of Paladin, Felicity Conrad.
I want to introduce you to someone who changed my life. Eduardo and his young family desperately needed a lawyer. But like 86% of low-income Americans, they simply couldn't afford one. Eduardo and his family were being deported back to Colombia, where their lives were in danger from a narco-terrorist organization, after he, a local Colombian politician, spoke out against them. Eduardo is like millions of others, whether they're dreamers, victims of the recent hurricanes, or even the immigration ban, who never get the legal help they need. But, as all entrepreneurs know, where there's a huge unsolved problem, there is an equal market opportunity. You see, every single lawyer has a professional responsibility to do 50 hours a year of pro bono work, creating a huge built-in supply of lawyers. As a Skadden litigator, I represented Eduardo for my 50 hours, and my employer absorbed my $500 an hour billing rate for me to do it. So just how many lawyer hours are we talking? Well, 50 hours from every lawyer in America is equal to the two biggest law firms in the world, Baker McKenzie and DLA Piper, times 10. So you have a huge need for legal services and a huge supply of lawyers, but there's no infrastructure to support this. The pro bono industry is broken. It's disaggregated and it's manual, and organizations are forced to run their global programs off of email, spreadsheets, and phone calls, costing them billions. And this isn't just a problem for administrators either. It leaves general counsels, partners, and C-level executives blind to the programs that they started in the first place and are responsible for. Well, no more. I'm Felicity Conrad, CEO of Paladin, and we're building a first-to-market global pro bono platform. Our software makes pro bono seamless for our customers, saving administrators time and money, increasing workforce engagement with pro bono opportunities, and capturing valuable data and insights for partners and general counsels. And this isn't just for law firms either. We're selling our software via subscription model first to Fortune 500 companies, which have huge in-house legal teams, then to mid and large-sized law firms, then to bar associations and governments, and finally to universities in America and beyond, forming a global pro bono network. And the best part? Well, it's working. Our software is currently being used by paid Fortune 15 customer Verizon. Thank you. I appreciate that. They're using our software to power their 448 lawyer-strong global program. And our pipeline, in the last 2.5 months, it has exploded. We currently have 20 Fortune 500 companies late in our sales pipeline. In fact, we have NBC Universal, Ford, HP, Adobe, Miller Coors, and the government of Singapore, which came inbound to us, all in the final decision-making stage of our pipeline. And our team? Well, we have the legal, technical, and operational expertise to pull this off. Before leaving Skadden, I was the youngest litigator in my class and a top biller. My co-founder, Kristen, worked at the DOJ after Princeton on international criminal matters before scaling Grouper on their founding team. Our CTO, Matt, has 20 years of experience building software, founded 2 startups, and was a lead engineer at Charity Water and the Hillary campaign. And last but not least, Phoebe is an expert nonprofit lawyer and an Australian to boot. Paladin is poised to become the gold standard for this industry. And with companies spending now more than ever on corporate social responsibility, with pro bono as the fastest growing segment, there has never been a better time to scale Paladin. Oh, and Eduardo? Well, I went to immigration court, I argued his case, and I won asylum for him and his family. They were so grateful that they took me across the street and treated me to some French fries. We're Paladin. If you want to be a part of what we're building, and especially if you have introductions to Fortune 100 general counsels, we would love to speak with you.
I'm back. I learned something recently. Renji, the CEO of Immersed, doesn't like 3D movies. It's really ironic when you think about it. But as I reflected on my relationship with Renji and his team, it made a little more sense, and it actually changed my perspective. They're immensely talented in taking on very hard technical challenges, and they're committed to it. And the things that they're doing are going to go way beyond what a few moments of 3D screen time puts in our mind as an immersive experience. But it's not just the product that's notable about Renji and his team. When I think about not just the virtual reality, but the real reality of the environment they created in our program, with their ambition, their confidence, and their positivity, it was something that was contagious for all of the teams. There is one reality, though, that Renji can't change, and it's the other big game, the basketball game between Harbor and Immersed, which Harbor was the winner of. They're a wonderful team. They're dedicated to the people around them. They embrace everyone around them. And it's my pleasure to introduce Renji.
Our lives are completely oriented around work. Entire civilizations localize around major cities where these large businesses are planted. So to be part of this society, we waste entire days flying between these cities, and entire salaries combating inflated housing prices, and entire mornings fighting traffic jams. Last year, Americans spent 1.8 trillion minutes sitting in traffic on their way to work. Why do we go through all this hassle? Why? It's because being in the office is the most effective way to collaborate and get work done. Our workstations, multiple screens, coworkers to have a conversation, whiteboards to hash things out. These elements are essential, but to have them, the rest of our lives suffer. So as an attempt for freedom, we try to collaborate remotely, using chat apps where miscommunication is the norm, or video conferencing apps that barely work, if ever. Or we hold our laptop webcams up to the whiteboard to try to brainstorm with our remote teams. But let's be real, these solutions don't work, nor do they replace in-person collaboration. They're even more frustrating than the flight delays and the traffic jams. There just hasn't been a good solution until now. I'm Renji, CEO of Immersed, and we empower you to have your office and your team no matter where you are. You can have as big of a screen or as many screens as you'd like. And you can even have that remote whiteboarding session with your distributed team as if you were in person. To make this possible, we've built groundbreaking human joint detection IP that does not require any body sensors nor multiple cameras, but just using any normal camera, our proprietary artificial intelligence software can detect your joints in 3D. We then run this AI software on your laptop's simple webcam, which picks up your joints, enabling you to collaborate in the virtual world using just your body. Current VR systems today require many different pieces for setup: gaming PCs with custom graphics cards, controllers to try to interact with the virtual world, and with wires everywhere. But with Immersed, you only need your laptop and mobile device for VR. That's it. We're a team of engineers. I have a master's in computational perception and robotics from Georgia Tech, and have led several Fortune 500 software development teams over the years. We've built human recognition software for self-driving cars and autonomous drones. We've built virtual world simulations, and we've even architected massive web solutions that have scaled to over 20 million unique users per day. Our team constantly faces the challenges of collaboration firsthand whenever we're remote. But we're not alone. We've met with engineering teams at companies like Google, Microsoft, Salesforce, and others, and they said that this is a problem for them and that they need this solution too. And in the process, over 3,000 people signed up for our private beta in just the past 4 weeks. We're scaling with engineering teams first, which is a $3.6 billion market that's growing by 13% every year. And as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and others invest billions into augmented, virtual, and mixed reality, there's a much larger market as it applies to general enterprise collaboration, which is a $50 billion market in just the next few years. But it doesn't stop there. As VR is on the rise now more than ever, our platform expands the industry, bringing all the elements of the physical office into the virtual world, to the point where everyone can live and work wherever they want. Our business model is similar to that of Slack and Dropbox. Immersed is free for the individual consumer for basic features. This enables us to gain customers and evangelists within organizations. And as they desire to collaborate within their organization, we then have a clear upsell into the enterprise. The age of artificial intelligence infused with other powerful technologies is now here, propelling humankind into the future like never before. And we're doing the same in the virtual workplace. Not only do we have the right team, technology, and demand, but this will impact all of civilization as we know it. This is the future of our offices. This is the future of team collaboration. This is the future that'll give us the benefits of being on site without having to waste time and energy on travel. So if you're interested in impacting our world's work lives, come and talk to us. Thank you.
Right now, there are thousands of founders selling, blogging, uploading term sheets, writing code for the entire world to see. And there are very few who are well suited for the challenge they're facing and are tackling as meaningful a problem as Ben and Ivana from Omelas. They are a perfect example of the power of combining analytical rigor, technical acumen, storytelling ability, and deep domain expertise. Without further ado, Ben from Omelas.
Right now, there are thousands of jihadists, white supremacists, and every terrorist in between blogging, posting, uploading videos, sharing images for the entire world to see. Because they do it out in the open, they reach an audience of millions. They get approval from like-minded extremists all over the world. The most that they ever pay for their brazenness is they have to take a few moments to restart a suspended account. But they're leaving behind billions of data points, and hidden in there is the key to their defeat. Look no further for proof of this than him. This is Bechki Bey. He left his native Macedonia to join ISIS, and on June 10th, uploaded this image. His friend asked him whether that was C4. Bechki confirmed. His friend said, "May God help you to fulfill its purpose." Bechki uploaded this publicly. That conversation happened out in the open, but everyone missed it. Our platform didn't. And because of that, the attack never happened. We're Omelas. We're a team of counterterrorism and machine learning experts. We speak Arabic, Farsi, Dari, Pashto, French, Spanish, Russian, and Chinese. We come from tech, from defense, from intelligence, from diplomacy, and our own startups. And we came together because we all saw the same problem. See, back when I was at Google, and I was on Visa, or Apple, or Expedia, and I wanted to understand why people became loyal to them, how their messaging was affecting user behavior, I'd use a platform like AdWords. It was consistent, intuitive, and data-driven. But when I was in intelligence, and I was on Al-Qaeda or ISIS, and I wanted to understand why people became loyal to them, how their propaganda was affecting people's behavior, I had to use something like this. Improvised, manual, based off of personal experience and intuition that took years to develop and that few ever did. I could use platforms like Palantir to organize and visualize the data I already had, but I still needed to collect the data myself. And any conclusions that I drew were based off my own personal subjective opinion. I was no closer to a statistically valid answer to the question, how does radicalization occur? At Omelas, we take the billions of data points terrorists leave out in the open as they radicalize people out in the open to get that answer. We put our proprietary analysis into a platform that is consistent, intuitive, and data-driven. That means our clients understand terrorist recruitment better than the terrorists. The insights that our platform provides have already won us an audience with the heads of intelligence of 4 countries. It's led State Department, Homeland Security, and Department of Defense to reach out to us for policy guidance. It's won us contracts worth $2.1 million and a late-stage pipeline worth $5.9. That comes from 3 US government agencies, 3 US allies overseas, and the private sector. They can't wait to get their hands on our platform. Within the past month alone, we've had negotiations with the C-suite at Stratfor, the world's leading geopolitical risk firm, and at YouTube. The platforms that we in tech invest in, that we've built, that we use every day, that pay our salaries, terrorists use those to spread their message of hatred and violence to every corner of the world. But because they're on our platforms, they're telling us how their propaganda works. They're telling us how they recruit. They're telling us how to stop them. And if you want to be a part of that, come find us after this.
Wow. Wish I could like mic drop. So, that's Techstars Chicago 2017. So, before we wrap, I just want to be sure to acknowledge some of the people that have helped put this together, that have helped us get here on this stage tonight. First up is the mentor community. Many mentors here tonight. For those of you that aren't mentors or don't know about Techstars, about our program, mentors are what make this program run. In Techstars Chicago this year, we had over 190 mentors come in to the program to visit in the first 4 weeks. 190 people that came in, gave their time, energy to support these founders, to give them advice, to spend time with them, and really to just add value, to give back. They came in of the first 4 weeks for over 750 meetings. A lot of logistics in that, but 750 meetings in just the first 4 weeks. To all of our mentors that are here tonight, that are live streaming, that came yesterday, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. In the second month of our program, we focus on speakers. We call this Growth Month. And in that Growth Month, we brought in speakers every single day, experts in their field, whether it's in growth marketing, in engineering, financial modeling, how to help on fundraise, support with legal or negotiations. These are subject matter experts that came in, gave their time in small, intimate settings and formats to teach our founders about how to help scale their business. Thank you so much to all those speakers that came in. You added incredible value. These companies learn from you, and they're implementing many of the things that you brought. We also, every Wednesday night, have founder stories. So within our program, throughout the course of program, we bring in different founders, local founders, from the community to come in and tell their story. These are intimate settings, small format, dinner. They tell the story about what they've built. They do Q&A. This opportunity for the founders to hear directly from those leaders is so powerful. Leaders like Chris Gladwin, who now Ocean, but from CleverSafe, Neil Salas Griffin, Justin Howard, Greg Kaplan, Amanda Leonard, Claire Liu, Harper Reed, and Dylan Richard, Brad Weisberg, and Jay Shakawa. We were very fortunate to have them in. Very much appreciate their time. Thank you to everyone that came in for our founder stories. And our sponsors. We have a great sponsor community here at Techstars, both globally. Microsoft, Google for Entrepreneurs, HubSpot, American Airlines, SVB, SendGrid, Domo, Cooley, AWS. These are not just big corporate logos. To us in this program, these are people. This is Pitt from Amazon and AWS. This is Martin from Microsoft. These people come in not just to push products. They don't come in, they come in, actually, they buy lunch, which our entrepreneurs love. They help them with solutions. They give them perks. They make introductions into their organization or to others that can help. Our global sponsors are a huge part of this program, huge part of our community. Thank you so much to all the global sponsors at Techstars. We're also very fortunate to have some phenomenal local sponsors. From Ace Bounce, providing our big party tomorrow night to celebrate. Mad City and Burnt City as our beer sponsor, which the Futury team certainly took heavy part in. Limitless Coffee, a great local entrepreneur, Matt Matros, started a coffee company called Limitless. One of the big changes this year, we know we needed free coffee. We needed lots of it, so we had cold brew on tap all summer long. Thank you so much to Limitless. Hyde Park Venture Partners sponsoring meals yesterday, to Microsoft, SVB, Dundee, and Lake West Venture Partners. They pay for all of our CEOs to go to dinner every Tuesday night. Time for the CEOs to spend with one another, to reminisce on the week, to talk about their problems. Every Tuesday night, they get to go to dinner together because of Dundee and Lake West Partners. CDW, CBRE, all phenomenal sponsors. Thank you so much to all of you. We really do appreciate your support. And lastly, well, second to last, but our Techstars Chicago team. I want to make sure I bring them all up here. Yep, this is the team. This is the team that really made this possible. I'm looking at the slide here. My picture's the biggest. It should be the small one in the corner. I played a very small part. These are really the people that made this possible. First, Elizabeth, our design associate here. Elizabeth came in as a design associate, helping all 10 of our companies actually with their designs, working with things on their decks, working with them on their websites, on their pages, on their marketing materials, putting together things like the brochures you have today, the name badges, all of these materials. Elizabeth just graduated from design school. She's considering whether she's going to stay here or move to her home state of Colorado for her next opportunity. If you're looking for someone in design, I highly encourage you to come talk to Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you. I'm going to skip you for a second. Lauren, this is Lauren, our ops associate. Lauren ran all of our program operations, that 750 plus meetings that I talked about with 190 mentors, with all the speaker series, all of those things, those logistics, all ran through Lauren. We're very fortunate to have her, all of that organization, which she's learned in a career of leading customer success. She's dedicated to customer accounts, to service, and thankfully, a lot of people noticed, and she's already got her next opportunity with a startup here in Chicago, but thank you so much to Lauren. This is Brian Quimby, our longest serving associate. He helped me through the recruiting process, vetting companies, sourcing companies, because he's looking at a possible career in venture capital. He comes from a computer science background, spent time at Google, for spending last summer or last spring at Andreessen Horowitz, interning there. Very fortunate to have him in. He's also considering whether he's going to stay here in Chicago or move back to San Francisco. We all say stay here, right? Stay here. This is Brian. Thank you, Brian. This is Hsieh Hao. Hsieh is known to many of you. He's a leader in this community. Product leader, front end and design, led multiple startups, including leading all of product, front end design at Belly, my company, for many years. He has quite literally written the book on how to learn HTML. Literally, if you are looking to learn HTML, you can buy his book. Please do so. We were very fortunate that Hsieh was available this summer to come and spend time with our companies. One of the things we really wanted to do with program this year was try to help really with building, engineering, product, front-end, design. And so we were very fortunate to have Hsieh come in, work hand in hand with the 10 companies, and really try and add that value. Thank you so much to Hsieh. And this is Marcus. Marcus is a digital marketing expert, from having his own agency to building for companies that he works with. We brought him in to help us with marketing, our own materials to help our companies with marketing, and learn so much more. Not only is his work ethic incredible, he's also one of the leading thinkers and speakers on blockchain in Chicago, which was a nice perk, right? And Marcus contributed so much. If you're looking to have someone help you with your digital marketing, with growing your business, you want to talk blockchain, highly encourage you to talk to and spend some time with Marcus. Thank you so much, Marcus. I see Dylan here in the second row. He decided not to stand up. His picture's up there as well. Dylan Richards was another one of our EIRs this year, helping our companies with technical problems. He is doing a lot of traveling now, supporting entrepreneurship across the Midwest, always available on Slack, always happy to answer back-end questions, technical questions. But he's not just a world-class engineer, he's a world-class person. Helped our companies just with how to be better people, how to talk about their problems. Thank you so much to you, Dylan, for spending your summer with us. And lastly, this is Rachel. Yes. Rachel's our program manager here, and she was an absolute savior to me. With all of the things we talked about, Rachel oversees management of the entire program. I spend time with the companies. She makes this whole ship run. She's been an absolute powerhouse in the office. She is kind. She is tougher on the founders than I ever could be and actually get shit done. I am so thankful that she was here and helping me. If you're going to talk to anyone, talk to everyone else. Do not try to recruit Rachel. Hopefully she's staying with me next year. So thank you so much, Rachel. And this is our team. This wouldn't have happened without this team. But at the very start of program, I told our team something. I told them that I like to create a hierarchy. And quite honestly, our team, myself, all of us, we came second. Who came first was all of our founders. So I'd like to bring them up here if we can. Founders up from the back. Come on down. So here's your opportunity. You're looking for a photo. You're looking for a hashtag. You want to talk about, what you saw here tonight. This is your chance. They have gone through 3 months with me, which is very difficult, and they have killed themselves trying to get their businesses growing, to put together these presentations, to do this here tonight. This is their third demo day presentation. They did 2 yesterday to investors. They did another one here tonight. As of now, as of this moment, they are done. So congratulations. That's our show for tonight. Thanks again to Esther and to Northwestern for hosting us here. Yep. They have generously provided food and drinks in the lobby here. We'll be hanging out, certainly having a drink. If you're going to stick around, food, drinks in the lobby, meet some of the entrepreneurs, tell them, love what they're working on, tell them about what you can do to help. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We really appreciate you. Have a great night.